Hey everybody, this is Tamiya Robles. I am the president of NAREB's High Desert chapter in California, and I am here with Sean Rogers, who is actually our second VP, and we are back doing our weekly lives with Ask a Mortgage Lender with Sean Rogers. Say hi, Sean.
Hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, or morning, whenever you're watching this.
Yes, yes. So we know it's been a while. I told you guys, if you've been listening to the podcast, that we just need to take a quick break to sort some things out, correct some things. But now you will see us way, way more. You're gonna see us. We're back to our weekly. You're gonna get lives. You're gonna get pre-recordings. You're gonna get classes. You're gonna get a lot of us. So definitely, still be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. If there's any particular topics that you want Sean to discuss, be sure to leave it in the comment section. Also, if you need to reach out to Sean because you need a mortgage or refinance or what have you, all of his information will be in the comment section. But right now, we're gonna hand it over to Sean. Today's topic, now we're doing topics, right?
Right.
Is we're preparing to find a lender. So Sean's gonna talk to us about that. So if you're trying to purchase a home, you're thinking about it before you do anything else, contact a lender in particular, Sean Rogers. And I'm gonna have you take it from here, Sean.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So finding the right lender is going to fit what you need. Because remember, not everybody fits inside a box, right? Right. We're not buying Honda Accords out here. We're buying whole houses, right? So you need to first try to analyze your situation, and you want to work with somebody that you kind of vibe with, because that person is going to be in lockstep with you for the next 30 to 45 days once you get under contract, right? So if you're the kind of borrower, or you're looking to buy a house, and you're the kind of person that maybe, fits inside that standard box, right? You've got a great credit score, you've got your money down, you've watched all of my YouTube videos about how to buy a house, and you're pretty much raring to go, right? In all honesty, you can go anywhere for your mortgage, depending upon who you want to work with, right? End of the day, we all pull from the same pot, but some lenders are different from others. We are not all built the same. Okay. Now, if you're the kind of person that maybe you have some quirks about your situation, you got some maybe I don't know, credit issues or income issues, or things aren't as cut as dry as they need to be, right? You may want to look at going to a mortgage broker like myself, right? We have a lot more options if you don't fit inside that little box, right? So the lender that you use will depend upon two things: your personal profile, right? And then sometimes a geographic situation, right? So there are some loan officers that are out there, or lenders, I should say, that only offer certain programs to their customer. But you may need that program that the broker maybe couldn't offer, right? It all depends upon the offerings of that individual loan officer or brokerage or lender, right? And what's going to work out best for you and the family. Remember, if you didn't hear anything I said, we are not all built the same. You have to be able to vibe with that loan officer as far as his or her communication skills, where they're at, you know, what products and offerings they may have to give you, right? If they can compete for your business, right? Because a lot of them are, they're gonna say, here's a line I used to hear a lot, or I had to use a lot back in the day when I was a retail loan officer. They would say, it's not about the cost, right? It's about the service that we give, right? People will pay more for a premium service, right? I hear that a lot. End of the day, right? My prices were astronomical because maybe the actual bank or the lender had what you call margins, right? Or pads or cushion on the actual loan itself there, right? And it causes the customer to have a higher price. Okay. So if you're very cost conscious, I would say this: it may be a good idea to stay away from retail brick and mortar banks, right? They can be more expensive, more pricey, right? And go with an independent mortgage broker that can usually save you money. Some cases, not at all, but in most. Okay. Um, but what you want to prep, right? What you want to prep for when it comes to the home buying process. The first step is always the best is to contact your local loan officer. Contact me, right? Um, let's go through a game plan together to see where you're at. We start out with a soft pull, right? Start with a soft pull, and then we kind of see, in a nutshell, what you're working with as far as your debt load, any credit issues, and that'll let me determine what your max purchase price might be. Okay. Also, it can help uncover some things you may not have seen. Like, for example, Tamai, let me give you an example here. Uh, talked to a lady last week, and she said, "Yeah, I've got just a couple of credit cards, nothing major. I paid them off last month, so my credit report should show no balance on my cards, right?" So I do the soft pull. Come to find out, she had a installment loan and a card loan on there that she had no idea about. Now the good thing is it's being paid on time, right? That's the good thing, right? But uh, once again, to recap, it lets the loan officer know what you're working with and lets us know what our max purchase power is going to be. Okay. Getting your docs together, that's important, right? So for our documents, most of the population out there, they have a regular job, right? A regular old job. So, what we'll need is your W-2s, pay stubs, driver's license, social security card, unexpired driver's license. Get that, right? Um, just the basic stuff you'll need. Now, if you're self-employed, we probably need to see tax returns, right? So you want to be able to find all your documents in a timely manner. If you don't have your W-2s or pay stubs, you usually call your HR or payroll department, and they're usually on file for a couple of years. And all we really need is a pass two in most cases. Okay. But the best thing to do when you're ready to find your lender is have all your data together, because the lender's going to start asking you questions like, hey, what did you make in 2022? What did you make in 23? Right. And for him to give you the best, him or her to give you the best information, you know, you need to have that data readily available. Don't come with us and saying, oh, I don't know how much money I make. Really? You're not counting your checks? Right? I don't know what my hourly rate of pay is. I don't know what my bonuses are, right? So if you don't know what those things are, you really want to um, make sure that you have your documents handy and ready to go. Otherwise, you're going to tell your loan officer one thing, and he or she's gonna err on the side of caution. Next thing you know, you're qualified for maybe 30 or 40 grand less in purchase power than what you should be qualified for because you didn't give him or her the right information. Okay. So to present yourself as the strongest candidate, right? When you're shopping around for your lender, you want to check your credit first off. Okay. Yourself. I recommend going to myfico.com and doing a report. Okay. It's like 40 bucks or something like that. All right. And then it's going to show you a FICO 2, 4, and 5 score. That's what we use as lenders. Don't look at Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, or any of the Experian based credit based apps. They use a Vantage score, FICO 8. We don't look at that. Okay, keep that in mind. Number two, you want to find your documents, W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns. Before you call your lender, have these things readily available to chat about because they're going to ask you what your income is, and you want to be able to go into detail to maximize what your max purchase prices are going to be. Okay. Now, also, if you have any quirks, be upfront. Tell us what's going on. Right? We are the barrier between uh, you and the underwriter. So what we'll do, we'll take what you tell us, all the data, get the ins and outs, get explanations from you. Don't try to hide it. We're going to find it anyway. Please, we're going to find your information. We're going to find all the ghosts and skeletons you got in the closet. To be upfront, tell us what's going on, so we can know how to navigate and get around it. All right. So those are things you need to know when you're shopping for your lender and what you got to prepare for, because we're going to come with a bunch of questions, facts, and data, and we got to back everything up when we present your case to the underwriter.
Yeah, that's excellent. Now,
Okay.
we actually have a few questions with regard to what you said. Are you
Okay.
ready for some questions?
Yes, I'm ready for some questions.
Okay. So, somebody asked, I was trying to capture it all, but what if a customer is already signed up with a mortgage lender and they feel they got a bad deal? Are you able to help with that, or are they stuck with that bad lender?
Not at all. So we can always help. So if you feel right? That you're getting a raw deal, or you're getting charged too much in closing cost, or you think your rate's too high, or you're seeing that your buddy down the street got something that you want what they got, right? That's totally fine and understandable, right? You want to make sure that you feel comfortable with what you're doing, so you can give me what they call a loan estimate. I would take it and then see if I can do any better based upon what you have going on. Right
Mhm.
now, I'm gonna tell you this: 9 times out of 10, if you go to one of the bigger retail lenders or you go to a local bank, I'm gonna beat you every time. I'm gonna be lower usually, right? So yes, if you feel like you're getting a raw deal, or you feel like you're not getting the best shake, give me a call. Email me a copy of your loan estimate. I can go through it with you and make sure that, for all intents and purposes, you are getting the best deal you can possibly get.
Okay, thank you. Another thing, another question we have inquiries. So someone asked if, okay, so if you said check your credit, if someone comes to you looking for a mortgage and you find a bunch of mortgage inquiries, like they're mortgage shopping, will that hurt their chances of getting approved?
Not at all. Not at
Okay.
all. All that's going to happen, let's say I get someone that's shopping around and they say, "Hey, Sean, I went to 45 different banks." And I pull their soft pull on their credit report and it shows 45 inquiries. Okay. All that we have to do is type up a letter saying that, "Hey, I applied with XYZ Bank. I did not move forward with the loan. There was no new credit opened." So, no, it will not affect you if you have a bunch of inquiries on your credit report when you're shopping around. That's your right to do so, right? But they will ask on each inquiry if you received any new debt that's not shown on the credit report. And if there is, we've got to hit you with that debt. We'll need documentation about it.
Okay, we got two more questions and they kind of might be blended into one, but it said, how will we know if we chose a good or bad lender? How will someone know? Especially
Let's
if
talk.
this is their first time. Sorry about that.
Okay, let's talk about the good side. So, how would you know if you chose a good lender? Here's what I would say, and here's what sets me apart when I look for different lenders out there, right? Um, I always talk in worst case scenario terms. Number one, right? I don't gas you up and say, "Hey, guarantee this is going to work. You're totally fine," right? Unless I have everything in front of me and I know it's going to work and it's already approved, right? Now, a good lender will tell you everything that could go south in the situation, not in a scary way, but they're going to tell you things that could go wrong, pitfalls that you run into during the process, right, and keep you prepped. And then they'll also say what people say is that, hey, listen, uh, if you're looking for better, there's always better out there. There's always somebody that'll do it cheaper, always. So feel free to shop around and do what's best for you and your family, right? If you want to go with cheap, go with cheap. If you want to go expensive, go with that. But you're gonna do, end of the day, you're going to want to do what's going to make you feel the most comfortable, because like I always say, we're not out here buying Honda Accords, we're buying homes. This is an investment, so we need to make sure that you're comfortable in your purchase. Okay. Now, as far as a bad loan officer, a lot of bad loan officers do have very similar traits, such as you can't get a hold of them, they don't respond to texts, phone calls, voicemails, or emails, right? Uh, they skip over important data information. They're slow to explain things to you, or they don't break things down for you, or they talk a lot of shop talk or mortgage talk, right? Once again, guys, we do this every day, you know, twice on Sunday. And I've been doing this for 20 years, and I know a lot, right? The average customer or homeowner buys a house or goes through the process of buying a house 3 to 4, maybe 4 times in their lifetime, max, right? But I do this 4 or 5 times a day. So, I think that a good loan officer would break things down in what we call plain English terms, so you understand what's going on. Use examples, scenarios, right? At the end of the phone call or the consult, their goal is to make sure you're comfortable, right? And the second thing is the vibe you get from the person you're dealing with, right? You may not like them. You may just get a bad feeling. They may have a bad, what do they call it, Tamiya, a bad aura about it. You may not like me. I may not be the person for you. that's fine, right? So the main thing is you're gonna go where where you feel comfortable at, right? You're gonna go with where you feel somewhat appreciated at, celebrated, right? And you're gonna go with someone that you click and connect with the most because once again, you and that person will be tight for the next 30 to 45 days. Once you find a house, you're going to be tight for that amount of time. And you got to be able to talk to them, multiple times to make sure uh, this is, it's going to go through.
Okay. Okay, and then the last question, the final question that we have is some real estate agents already have their preferred lender that they use for their customers. But let's say someone here, they're watching the video, they do have an agent. She did recommend someone, but they prefer you over them. So how would that work? Should the customer introduce you as the real estate agent and have you guys talk like how does that usually work?
So here's how that goes down. So once again, it's always the customer's desire. It's always in their hands what they want to do, right? It's not up to the lender or up to the realtor to decide where the loan goes, right? Because it's end of the day, the customer's paying that mortgage payment, right? So the conversation kind of goes, it's a handoff. Like, hey, Mr. Realtor, Mrs. Realtor, this is my lender, Sean Rogers. I want to go with him. Here's his pre-approval. Then I'll pick up the phone and talk to the realtor because once again, they don't know me, right? They have no idea who I am, right? Which is understandable. That's totally fine. Not everybody knows who I am. I don't know everybody out in America, right? It is what it is. So we have a conversation. I tell them what I do, where I'm from, my track record, how long I've been doing this, so forth and so on. And I kind of put them at ease to let them know how everything's going to go down. The biggest thing they want to know, right? Have I done my due diligence with the customer that we're both about to take a part of, right? They want to make sure that I've looked at the income, looked at the assets, analyzed the credit. I have an automated underwrite. I have a full underwrite, right? As long as they know that I've done my end of the bargain with the customer and there's no hiccups or surprises, because at the end of the day, they just want to close, right? That's the name of the game. At the end of the day, they just want to close and get their house keys, right? So as long as they know that I've done my job, it's usually a pretty seamless process. I've never had a realtor come back and say, you know what, we're not using him. It's not happening, right? I never had that happen before. Not saying that it won't or can't, but that has never come up. But yeah, so if you want to use me or any other lender besides your realtor's preferred lender, that's totally fine. Just make sure the connection is made and make sure that those two, once again, the realtor and the lender, right, they're going to be pretty tight also for the next 30 days too, right? So they got to make sure they vibe, right? So somebody comes off being a butthole to one another, or there's not a click there. It can be a rough process for everyone involved, right? A lot of miscommunication can go down. There can be a lot of back and forth, he say, she say, right? There can be a lot of that. So to prevent that, you would want to make sure that realtor and the lender connect, um, and they're both comfortable with each other. Well, all three parties, the buyer, the realtor, and the lender, are all tight and comfortable. We get on move forward and keep it pushing.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Sean. So hopefully you guys got that. Again, if you have any questions, concerns, definitely hit up Sean directly. His information is in the bottom. If you're watching this on one of our social media platforms, then just leave a comment. We got you. We'll look out for it. But in the meantime, we're going to wrap this up. And as far as you being your credit person, I wish you the best of luck on your credit journey. And then, Sean, what you got for the people?
Hey, look out for more information. We're dropping it like it's hot. We're dropping a lot of content, a lot of information. Subscribe to our YouTube channels. We'll get that information over to you. But that's pretty much it.
Okay. We'll talk to you guys later. Good luck.